There are people who have rented in 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom houses and apartments. I spoke with some of landlords who have agreed to reduce rent charges. I hereby calling on landlords in this period of 3 months. I'm calling on you to reduce rent charges for up to 50%.
Ninawaomba mpunguze kodi kwa 50%.
And the Minister of Health in Zanzibar, Hamad Rashid Mohammed, has said it is illegal to reveal the identity of patients infected with the coronavirus. Speaking to press in Zanzibar, the minister also called on residents to adhere to preventative measures against the virus.
Kazi yetu ni kushughulika na wagonjwa. Awe raisi, awe waziri, awe nani.
All the leaders of this country are responsible in taking care of the patients. Globally, it is illegal to disclose patients' details. Patients are allowed to disclose their health status on their own if they want. According to health attendants' ethics, we are not allowed to talk about our patients. That is why when we give information about the patients, we only reveal their gender, age, and where they are coming from.
Za serikali zilizotolewa za kuwataka watu wasikae magurupu.
Government has already announced that people should not stay in groups. Those who go against the directives are ending up in the hands of forceful measures or even can't. My people, the government does not want to use force, but you are forcing us to use force because its impact are huge. Italy was reluctant, which led to massive local transmission of the virus. Now the disease is out of hands. They are asking for doctors from outside the country. If you have come from a journey outside the country, check your health status and do not expose yourself to others. There is only one medicine that has proven to prevent the disease, which is stay at home. The rest are measures to reduce spread of the disease, like wearing masks, washing hands, and using sanitizers.
And Prime Minister Majaliwa said the 2020-2021 government budget will ensure more efforts are put into the fight against corruption and drug abuse. Prime Minister Majaliwa made the statement in Parliament in Dodoma when tabling his office's budget estimates for 2020-2021. When the turn for the opposition cap to table their budget estimates came, Speaker of Parliament Job Dugai said it would not be read as it had many shortcomings.
Swala ajira ni swala endelevu na tunaendelea kuhakikisha kwamba
employments are a sustainable process which is given priority in all the projects. Corruption are also falling on sustainable findings in our country, meaning that wherever there are corruption cases must be taken to the responsible authority so that stern measures can be taken against the perpetrators. Fights against HIV are also among our priorities, so as to ensure that we control new cases of the disease.
Tumeona wamezuia hotuba yetu, lakini haiturudishi nyuma, yani mawe kama kawaida. Wajiandae kuzuia zingine.
They have dismissed our address, but that will not cause us to hesitate sending more. We shall not stop writing the truth.
Kwenye budget hii inakadiriwa kwamba tutatumia budget ya trilioni 34.
It is estimated that 34 trillion shillings will be used in the budget. Honorable Prime Minister have assured us that the government is doing all it can to make sure that all prioritized projects will be completed according to the budget.
Imepewa kipaumbele ataweza kuifanya vizuri kwa kufuata.
Ongoing rains in the Same district Kilimanjaro region have wreaked havoc after landslides closed the main road at Goma village in the district. However, the road has been reopened after residents in the area removed the rocks and mud from the road.
Kwa ujumla ni kwamba haya maporomoko ya mawe yalikuwa ni tishio kwa sababu yangesababisha vifo.
These rockfalls were quite a threat because they could have caused death to pedestrians, those at home and farms. Luckily, when the first rock fell, it was blocked by a house. Meanwhile, these acts have caused fear among people while carrying out their daily activities.
Tunafikiri kwamba
it is the first such incident happens in our village. We are grateful that villagers were fast enough in giving support to houses that needed help, including those that trees fell on. Honestly, we have been affected from this incident.
Pale kuna magari yalikuwa yanabeba ndizi kupeleka Same.
There were vehicles en route to Same carrying bananas failed to pass the road due to the rockfalls, tempering villagers' economy since many had crops to send to the markets. We thank God when the rock fell, houses were not destroyed and people were not hurt.
Nyumba ambazo ziko karibu makazi yale.
Senior journalist from Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation, TBC, Marin Hassan Marin, has died at his residence in Mbezi Beach, Dar es Salaam. Last respects for the late Marin Hassan Marin were held at TBC premises in Dar es Salaam. And speaking at the occasion, the Director General of TBC, Ayub Rioba, said he had played a key role in bringing changes to the corporation. President Dr. John Magufuli also sent a message of condolence to the family, leadership and employees of TBC, saying Marin will be remembered as a creative and engaging journalist.
Natoa pole kwa familia ya Marin.
My condolences to the family of Marine journalist TBC staff for this big loss. Let me also take this opportunity to thank President Dr. John Magufuli for his support of giving out his plane to transport the body of the late Marin Hassan Marin.
Miongoni mwa watu ambao wamenifunda na kunifikisha nilipo ni Marin Hassan. Alikuwa nakutia moyo akigundua una kitu.
He was among the people who coached me to where I am today. He used to give me support, and others too, wherever it was necessary. He was a very creative man, something that we must all learn from him. He was friendly and charming to all.
Marin alikuwa mbunifu lakini alikuwa msikivu, hajui kukasirika.
The Minister of Home Affairs, George Simba Chawene, has said the government has purchased printing equipment for national identification cards at a cost of 8.5 billion shillings, which have the capacity to produce 9,000 ID cards per hour. Speaking in Dodoma, Minister Simba Chawene said that the new equipment will address the problem of delayed issuance of the national ID cards.
Statistics shows that only 6 million identity cards have been issued, but we have already registered almost 21 million people. The challenge of issuing cards is caused by machines who are not in good conditions to manage their backload of the work. Meanwhile, I would like to congratulate President Dr. John Magufuli for giving out funds that will be used in buying a new machinery that will have the capacity of printing 9,000 cards per hour, a move that will allow us to make a lot of cards in a short period of time. Most of Tanzanians owned ID numbers since getting cards was a long process. Thus, purchase of the machinery will help a lot in their situation. Before, people used to wait for up to 3 to 6 months before they get their cards.
And that's all for the national news. International news is next. In international news, the number of confirmed coronavirus cases in Kenya has risen by 22, bringing the total number in the country to 81. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said on Wednesday that 21 out of the 22 cases are people who are currently in quarantine.
Over the last 24 hours, we have tested over 300 Kenyans. Out of those, 22 have been tested as positive. This is the largest number that we have received in a single day. It is also commensurate with the fact that it is the largest number that we have tested also in a single day. Out of those 22, 13 are male and 9 are females.
We are all very proud of both of you. We are thankful to God that you have managed to go through treatment and you are now well and able to go about your businesses once again and continue with your lives. But once again, to appeal to all Kenyans. We can overcome. Let us not be scared to say if we are not well. Let us isolate ourselves. When we talk about social distancing, it's not a joke.
And as the number of coronavirus cases continues to increase in Rwanda, fear amongst residents in Kigali is growing as they enter the 10th day since the lockdown was announced a week ago.
I have not seen food for 3 days. The situation has continued to get worse. This is the 3rd day I have gone without food. Yesterday, my neighbor gave me 500 and I bought potatoes. Today, the government has given me 1 kilogram of maize flour and beans. But I do not have charcoal. I have 7 children. I do not know what I will feed them. Since the government has stopped people from stepping outside, food from the regions has reduced. We are scared of experiencing hunger.
The first Vice President of Burundi has called on citizens of the country not to fear following reports of 2 confirmed coronavirus cases, but instead they must ensure they adhere to preventative measures given by the Ministry of Health.
Kwanza tunaomba Warundi wasishikwe na oga sana, sababu hiyo malawi kwa kusema tuifurushe lazima tuwe imara, tushikamane. Tuwe na uaminifu sisi wenyewe, sababu ni malali inafika, lakini ni malali tukikamata hatua zote waziri wa usalama ametosha, ni malali haiwezi kaingia nchini Burundi.
2 days after President Yoweri Museveni banned the use of private vehicles in the country, in Kampala city, very few people have been seen with police and military officers patrolling various areas to make sure the ban is being implemented as Uganda records 44 confirmed coronavirus cases. And Capital Television's Khadija Zimbwe and Deutsche Welle correspondent Thomas Sparrow discussed the latest on the coronavirus outbreak in Germany in this special report.
With Tanzania having 19 cases which are confirmed of coronavirus, and with the first infected person confirmed dead yesterday with COVID-19, now we turn to Germany to find out the latest developments there from Thomas Sparrow, our correspondent from our media partner Deutsche Welle in Berlin. Thomas, what is the current situation in Germany?
It remains a difficult situation here in Germany. Germany is one of the most affected countries in Europe as far as numbers of infected people are concerned, although Germany has a particularity, and that is that compared to other countries, the death rate remains comparatively low. The German government has, and in fact it's been already in place for a few weeks now, for a few days, has imposed a series of restrictions to public life in the country. Most people have indicated that they're in favor of those restrictions, but again, this is not an imposed obligatory lockdown as we've seen in other countries in Europe, for example. If you look at the numbers specifically, there does seem to be a better sort of rate if you look at the numbers of infected compared to other days and recent days, but officials have indicated that it is still too early to indicate whether this is a long-standing trend. They have said that there's still a long time to go as far as this pandemic is concerned, and that this is still, and that was something that was said a few days ago, the calm before the storm, although officials as well have indicated that they're optimistic that the measures that have been put in place will be actually effective.
So how has the public reaction been regarding the imposed measures in controlling the spread of the virus?
Most people seem to be in favor of these restrictions because they have understood, and they have understood this because officials have been very, very eager to repeat it. Even Chancellor Merkel gave a very unusual televised statement addressing this, but people have understood that the only way to stop this, or at least to slow the progress of the coronavirus and slow the numbers of infected and thus protect the public health system, is if everyone participates, if everyone makes something possible, if everyone tries to stay at home or at least reduce their social interactions in any way possible. Although again, Germany, unlike other countries, has not imposed an obligatory lockdown, so this essentially means that people can still go to work, that supermarkets, for example, are still open, that pharmacies are still open, but this goes hand in hand with that personal and social responsibility that officials have said time and time again is so important at this time. It's not only about officials saying this has to be done and this has to be done and these are the measures that are going to be implemented. It's also about people understanding that it's up to them as well to reduce their social interactions and as such also reduce the possible implications of infecting other people.
So how much has these measures actually supported in reducing the spread of this disease?
It is still too early to say whether this will be absolutely effective, whether more measures will be needed. There are discussions here about other possible measures, for example, if Germans should use a mask or if they should restrict even more their social interactions. So officials have been clear to say that it is still too early to say 100% whether this will be effective, but again, they have indicated that they think they're optimistic about it and that initial numbers that they have been able to see, again, for example, referring to this increase rate, seem to point in the right direction, although more work is still absolutely necessary.
All right, thank you so much, Thomas, for those updates. Even here in Tanzania, we are putting a lot of efforts in making sure that the numbers do not increase, but rather we decrease the numbers and finally saying goodbye to this virus. Thank you so much for the updates.
And that special report ends our international news. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Thank you for staying with us. And now in business news. The government in Mtwara region has directed directors of all councils to register groups of local brewers who manufacture alcohol from cashew apples after the chief chemist's office said that test results show that it was fit for human consumption and that it can also be used to produce spirits and sanitizers.
I direct directors of all councils to register all those creating local spirits so that we know their production capacity. Because if someone who can invest in the spirits factory is found, we must have statistics to show our production capability and who is involved in production. You can use our laboratory as a control center. Bring us samples, we'll analyze and give you answers, so you will know which batches are good and can be used and which are not.
A few days after the Defense and Security Committee in Magu District confiscated 52 tons of green gram worth more than 80 million shillings, farmers of the crop from Ndagalu division in the district have been warned to be on alert for dishonest business people.
We would say no to selling our lentils for 600 to 700 to 800 shillings price they give us, while in the TMX market during the last auction we sold 1,300 shillings per kilogram and farmers got their money. I want our farming to be productive so that farmers can benefit and escape poverty. They made us a promise that NMB is the biggest stakeholder in purchase of lentils, meaning that the NMB stakeholders will be given priority in purchase of this harvest, and after the lentils will be taken to a wholesale market, and that is when the second phase of payments for farmers will be done. But things have not been done, and that is why we are being opposed.
An operation has been implemented to remove traders conducting business activities in prohibited areas at the new auction market located at Kizota Ward in Dodoma City.
Whoever has proof of sale should come to your office. Someone can just say that they have given money and have issues later.
Kuna baadhi yao wamekuwa wanatumia fursa vibaya.
People have been using this opportunity poorly and defrauding the public by selling them, especially road reserves, telling them that they should give money to live there. We are aware of this matter and continue to follow up on it. Once we are satisfied with someone has given money for an open place without the council's knowledge, legal action will be taken.
And that's all for business news. Sports is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going being dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lendl.
And in sports, Simba SC coach Sven Vandenborg has revealed how he used the Mapinduzi Cup to build a strong team. Here are more details.
The Belgian coach has pointed out the cup competition, which was played in Zanzibar in January, was useful to him as he was able to see the potential of some players in his squad. He added in the finals, Mtibwa Sugar were motivated to play against Simba, and that is why they went on to win the trophy, despite his team dominating a big portion of the encounter, while praising Mtibwa defense for a solid display. Van der Broek has also revealed after losing to JKT Tanzania in a mainland Premier League match, he was able to identify his best 11, which he said has been improving game after game until now.
Tanzania Association of Footballers has called on the Football Federation to ban teams that have not paid their players from participating in the league.
Najua kama tukiamua kusema tutafanya.
You know, if we decide, we can. This is all in club licensing, as we discussed earlier. You cannot have the ability of registering new players with a lot of money and still fail to pay the few a small amount when they are leaving. If this is dealt with, we, the Footballers Association, will be very happy. It is resolved. There won't be players' cases. Most footballers' cases are about their salaries or signing fees.
New questions about Tokyo's successful bid for the 2020 Olympics have been raised after a businessman admitted he had given digital cameras and Seiko watches to lobby Games power brokers, including an influential International Olympic Committee figure suspected by French prosecutors of taking bribes to help Japan's bid.
Haruyuki Takahashi, a former executive at the influential advertising agency Dentsu Inc., told Reuters he had given the gifts when lobbying IOC members such as Lamine Diak, the former head of athletics governing body, the IAAF. That's common sense, Takahashi told Reuters, referring to the gifts he gave Diak and his son Papa Masata before adding their chip. A senior official at the bid also told Reuters good watches were handed out at parties organized as part of Tokyo's campaign to win the Olympics, although he did not specify the brand.
The former Marseille president Pape Diop has died earlier on Tuesday. The French club revealed the 68-year-old had been suffering from coronavirus. Here's more.
Diop was being treated in a hospital in Senegal, the country of his birth, after contracting the virus. A statement on Marseille's Twitter account read, Olympique de Marseille learned with great sadness of the death of Pape Diop. Pape will remain forever in the hearts of Marseillais as one of the great craftsmen of the history of the club. Our condolences to his family and loved ones. Diop became the first black president of a first-tier European club when he took the position at Marseille in 2005. Previously, he had been a journalist and football agent with Marcel Desailly, Basile Boli, William Gallas, Samir Nasri and Didier Drogba among his clients.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and have a good night.